The gauge dashboard item displays a series of gauges. Each gauge can communicate two values, one with a needle and the other with a marker on the scale. To bind the gauge dashboard item to data, click a placeholder contained in one of the available data sections and select the required data source field in the binding section of the invoked data item menu. Gauges are measures, both actual and target values, which contains data items used to calculate values displayed by gauges. After you add the data item containing actual data, you can add the second data item, which is optional, that contains target data. If both items are provided, gauges show the difference between actual and target values, called delta. You can fill several data item containers in the gauges section and use the values drop-down menu to switch between the provided values. Series is a dimension which contains data items whose values are used to label gauges. Delta. Gauges allow you to display the difference between the actual and target values of a particular parameter. This difference is called delta. Delta is shown with a delta indicator, indicating whether the actual value is less than or greater than the target value, and delta values, representing this difference as an absolute value or variation. After you add the data item containing actual data, you can add the second data item that contains target data. To customize settings that relate to the calculation and display of deltas, open the Delta Options section of the Data Item menu. Use it to define the conditions for displaying delta indication, specify which delta value should be displayed, and introduce the comparison tolerance. The following options are available. Value type specifies which value should be displayed as the main delta value. Additional delta values are selected automatically. Result indication specifies the condition for displaying delta indication. Threshold type specifies the comparison tolerance in percentage values or in absolute values. Threshold value specifies the comparison tolerance value. Gauge scale. By default, the gauge dashboard item automatically determines the range of the gauge scales based on the values they display. You can override this behavior and specify maximum and minimum values on the scale. After you add the data item, open the Scale Options section of the Data Item menu to customize the gauge scale. Then, set the minimum or maximum value mode to Custom and specify this value in the corresponding field. Layout. The gauge dashboard item allows you to specify the number of columns or rows by which gauges are arranged. For example, the following image shows gauges arranged into 3 columns. To control how gauges are arranged, use the Layout section in the Gauges Options menu. The following modes are available. Auto. Automatically resizes gauges to fit within the dashboard item. Fixed rows. Allows you to arrange gauges in a specific number of rows. Fixed columns. Allows you to specify the number of columns in which gauges are arranged. To specify the number of rows or columns, use the line count field. Style. The gauge dashboard item allows you to select the gauge style. The following types are available: full circular, half circular, left quarter circular, right quarter circular, 3/4 circular, linear horizontal, linear vertical. To select the gauge style, use the style icons in the Gauge Options menu. If you have any questions or concerns, contact us at support@logic.us or visit our support portal. Thank you.